Hello, everyone. Welcome to our NFT Builder competition today. In 2021, NFTs are making a splash in the market by providing people with a new option to acquire assets. The impact of the NFT may have long-term effects on the industrial segments beyond arts. So we have seen some segments such as venture capital and finance embrace NFTs as a trusted instrument for proclaiming and transferring proof of ownership. The near future will undoubtedly witness an explosive boom of NFT. With NFTs becoming more and more popular, ChainIDE is announcing its first NFT builder competition, and it is dedicated to promoting and flourishing the NFT community from all over the world. In today's agenda, we have invited Daniel from Matrix Labs and Ren Chen from Monolabs to give us presentations on their projects. And after that, we will have a roundtable talk about stuffs related to NFTs. A few reminders before we get started. Since you're absolutely free to leave what you thought in the chat room, I still appreciate your mutual respect to each other. If you have questions, we encourage you to ask them via Telegram or Discord. And with that, we will open today's event. We are very lucky to have Daniel with us today. Daniel, he is the community manager of Matrix World from Matrix Labs. And Daniel, you may start whenever you're ready.
Hello, everyone. And before I get into the presentation, a huge thank you to ChainIDE for having us. We're excited to talk about two NFT projects that we've been working on. Now, those projects that we're going to be talking about today are Matrix World and Matrix Market. They are both projects produced by a company called Matrix Labs, who I'll talk about briefly in a minute. Matrix World is a metaverse, an open world metaverse that is under development, and Matrix Market is a NFT marketplace on Flow that's just been launched. Now, before we get into the presentation, I thought I'd share a little bit about myself and who I am. So my name is Daniel. I also go by Frankincense on Twitter and Discord. I'm the community manager for Matrix World. Now, I've been in that role since about the start of the year. And before that, my cryptocurrency experience started back in roughly 2013, 2014, when a mate and I were really interested by cryptocurrency mining. So we started mining some Bitcoin, and I think the process of building the Bitcoin mining rig and the mathematics and understanding the process, how blocks were mined and things like that, was actually really exciting to us. So we had that miner for probably 3 or 4 months until we got an electricity bill that was about $2,000. And that's what it's like being in Australia and having computers that are like that. So we decided to sell our Bitcoin mining rig, and we sold most of our Bitcoin at that point in time as well. So I've held on to a little bit, and I've been in and out of the bull and bear markets that we've seen over the time. But in that period, I also went on to work for a couple of large companies. One of them was a very large technology company, and I went to work for their support team. The whole time I've had a passion for creation and kind of technology and Web3 and what it brings and the decentralization. And I suppose that access to information is something that's very powerful, and that's something that I'm passionate about as well. So, and it's a very exciting time to be involved in Web3 and cryptocurrency, and a lot of people are building at the moment, and that's certainly what we're doing. So I'm excited to share a little bit about that. As far as it goes for NFTs, I actually released a short book about launching your own NFT project with a few mates, because that was something I was passionate about. I've kind of on test network style, I've released a NFT project on Cardano, Solana, and Ethereum. And mainly this is just for my own interest in learning more about that. And we'll talk a bit about Flow during this presentation, but that's something that I'm also interested in, and I've been learning a bit more about lately, and Cadence, the language that uses. So let's move on to the presentation. Now, I think the thing that we're going to start with is actually learning more about the company behind it. And that company is Matrix Labs. Matrix Labs is a passionate group of blockchain enthusiasts who are working to build the metaverse and expand the influence of blockchain technology. Now, a little bit of background about Matrix Labs itself. The company was established in 2020 and since then has grown to over 60 employees worldwide. Now, a lot of the core team actually met back in Canada while they were studying, and this was back in 2017. Now, at the same time, you might have heard of this NFT project before called CryptoKitties. They were actually kind of hanging out with the core group from CryptoKitties as well. So a lot of relationships were built back in the early days and hanging out in the Ethereum ecosystem. Since then, they've assisted with the development of ChainIDE and have had a large focus on education and events. So they've released papers including an interoperable avatar framework across multiple games and blockchains, and Metaverse for Social Good, a university campus prototype. And they've also, since 2018, held and participated in over 100 events and established connections with developers and developer communities across the world. Some of these, of course, include ChainIDE, Binance Smart Chain, and WhiteMatrix. Now, before we move on to talking about their very own project, Matrix World, it would be remiss of me if I didn't mention some of the projects that they've been technical partners with. Now, those include some very popular names such as 𝗏𝗏, Riverman, and also 𝗏𝗏𝗱𝗏 was the recent one as well. Okay, let's dig into Matrix World. Matrix World is a programmable 3D multi-chain metaverse, and we'll get into what that means on the next slide when we overview some of the key features of Matrix World. But the first thing that I want to address is, what should a metaverse be? Now, a metaverse to succeed, I believe, needs to be an open world, so it needs to have activities and engagement that will keep people coming back. And it also needs to remove limitations, so accessibility limitations, so ease of entry. And the other thing that we look about is multi-chain. And we'll explain on the next slide why multi-chain is so important, but it's another one of those things that removes barriers from entry, and it actually welcomes more people into Matrix World or the metaverse. Now, Matrix World's initial sales was actually in October of 2021, so it started around the middle of October. All the land was sold out. Now, there's 10,000 land plots in total, and they're very in different sizes. So you have a 1x1 plot, you have 2x2 plots, you have 3x3 plots, you have 6x6 plots, and you have 10x10 plots. Now, the ones that are 2x2 or larger can actually be split up, so divided, and the size of the land itself is equivalent to 30 meters, 30 by 30 meters. So 1x1 is 30 by 30, a 2x2 is 60 by 60, and so on. Now, before we go too much further, I'm sure you're wanting to actually see a bit about this world, so I'm going to play through a demo video we released earlier this year. Thanks.
Hey there, it's 𝗏𝗃 from Matrix Labs. Just giving you a quick run through of our demo progress. Here's the character selection screen. We'll pick Ansari, or Nata as named here. And here's our progress on the Flow headquarters. You see a citizen card with some wallet information. You can toggle day and night in the demo. And we'll run over here a little bit. On the outside, you can see one of the NBA Top Shot moments playing. Got a billboard, a screen here working. And again, this is all very, very early alpha build of the demo, right? So let's go inside now, take a little look. And some NFTs displayed in the background. Talk to the reception. This is just some of the progress we've made so far. Still a lot of work to do. Thanks, guys.
All right, so that's a little demo into what Matrix World is going to be like. As mentioned, it is very early days and we're still developing that alpha. Okay, let's learn more about the key features of Matrix World. And the first one I mentioned before is multi-chain connectivity. So currently Matrix World is established on Ethereum and Flow. So there's two different sides to this world. Now the functionality between the land is no different. If you purchase on Ethereum or purchase on Flow, you'll still have the same functionality. I suppose the thing that you'll consider is, will there be different communities building on different areas, and where do you want to build is a personal preference, which is a great thing. Now, the reason why we've done this is because a single chain metaverses, it creates a disconnect. Not everyone wants to build on Ethereum. Not everyone wants to build on Flow. Not everyone wants to build on Solana. So we wanted to create an opportunity for people to build on whatever chain they want. But the added benefit of that is that I can create my world in Ethereum or Flow, and I can decide to add, spice it up a little bit with a mix of information from other chains. Now, we'll get into that in a minute, but we haven't capped it at just the 2 blockchains, because we believe the success of a metaverse is not by limiting users, it's by welcoming users. But as I mentioned before, I started to touch on a little bit, the benefit of having a multi-chain metaverse is that when you create immersive 3D apps, you can actually allow the users to connect to different services, external services. And there's 2 different use cases here, I suppose, that we'll go into. But the first thing that we think about is that multi-chain aspect. So let's imagine that I have a virtual art gallery and it's inside my plot on the Ethereum land. I've purchased it on OpenSea or somewhere like that. And I want to put a virtual art gallery, but my art isn't stored on Ethereum. It's not on the Ethereum blockchain. You can still then actually have a Flow art gallery inside your Ethereum land plot. So it's giving you that option to actually expand beyond just the one blockchain. And the other thing that we look at with immersive 3D apps is that you don't actually have to leave the metaverse. And I think that's a big issue with a lot of metaverses and products that are out there at the moment, is that I could be inside a metaverse that's currently out in the world and I might need to make an exchange or I might need to convert some tokens. But the thing is, I'm going to have to leave that metaverse every single time because it doesn't have the functionality that it should or that we want it to. So Matrix World ideally combats that by actually having these 3D dApps that are built inside Matrix World. And I'll give you an example, like a virtual ATM that connects to Uniswap. So I can walk up to this virtual ATM and then process my swap inside the metaverse. And then maybe I was swapping it to buy some art off the wall. So we're trying to keep everything inside Matrix World. And that's going to, provide this immersive experience that will keep people, engaged inside the metaverse rather than logging out and they might see a notification they've got and get distracted and never come back to the world. So immersive 3D apps through allowing this multi-chain connectivity, but also ability to connect to external services. And the way we do that is by having programmable objects, and those programmable objects can be customized in their behavior, appearance, and transformation. And that's via something we call Turing complete programs. And so each plot of land inside Matrix World has its own computational resources and memory allocated. And if I combine land, I get more resources and I get more memory, which is great. So I can build more complex applications. But basically every plot of land, as I mentioned, will have something called a SVM or space virtual machine, which allows you to actually program these objects and control the way they are and their life cycles and how they look and how they perform. So your land's going to be pretty boring without anything on it. So Matrix World, a key focus of ours is to actually give you the option and the ability to create your own objects on your land. And we're going to use a friendly what you see is what you get model style editor and scene editor. And that makes it easy for people to customize and build on their own lands. Now we're going to have the ability to purchase scenes or templates from a marketplace as well. And we'll also have these predefined exteriors that you can then customize the interior of your building as well. So we're trying to make it as easy as possible to create objects on your lands and also customize those objects as well. Now, there are so many different use cases for a virtual world, but we want to make sure you can have gameplay, have entertainment. It might be that you're hosting your meetings. We've already got a few companies that have signed up to actually have their virtual headquarters inside Matrix World, and there's been some partnerships that we've developed there. So it's a very exciting use cases for Matrix World, and it's all done through these key features that we have here. Now, when we look at Matrix World's design, we realize there's 3 different main types of users, and this is what we want to accommodate to each one of these user types. You have the general user, and there might be the people who just want to drop in. They don't want to set up a wallet. They just want to get in, explore the world. So we're going to have options for users to be able to just jump into the world without having to create a wallet. And there'll be certain activities that then if they want to engage, they'll have to create a wallet and go from there. So we want to remove the barrier, and we're going to make it so easy for people to just drop into our world through certain features that we haven't released just yet, but we will talk about in the future to make sure our world's accessible to the masses. The second one we look at is the host, and this is typically your landowners. So they're the people that have the property. They kind of control the way the world looks in a way, but they also are the people that have an avatar set up. They're the people that potentially have land and they can lease out land. They can rent out land. They can have advertising on it because we have partnerships with advertising companies already. So they're the people that kind of maintain their land and the way it appears, and also they have an avatar inside this world as well. And lastly, we have the builders, and they're the people that might not necessarily own land, but they have a skill set that's integral to both the users and also the hosts as well. And they're the people that we look to build these 3D models and kind of create these contracts or these dApps inside the world, and be rewarded through royalties or through payments from those owners of those lands as well. So they're the 3 different user types that we want to appeal to with Matrix World. Now, there's a few recent milestones that I'd love to talk about today as well. One of them being that back in February, Matrix World had a $50 million valuation and raised $5.5 million. And some of the backers for the angel round included companies like Test Venture, Everest Ventures Group, Com2Us, Y2Z Ventures, and also Animoca brand as well. But at that point in time, a little bit of reflection, when that happened, we had over $7 million in secondary market trading volume. We had partnerships with Flow Blockchain, Dapper Labs. We helped with the tech development of 𝗲𝗵𝗶𝗆 at that point in time, and many others that announced a plan to build inside Matrix World. We have verified collections on OpenSea, 𝗏𝗏 and Rarible. We had already achieved quite a bit at that point in time in February after launching in October. Since then, we've actually increased our hiring and we continue to grow as a company in itself. And one of our more recent hires was a new product director for Matrix World. Now that has slightly changed the direction of Matrix World, and for the better, of course, because the past experience that Josh has had, they have over 25 years game dev experience or game development experience. So they've worked for companies like EA, Rockstar Games, Ubisoft, Disney, working on Club Penguin, and most recently they were a game director at Unity on a major world build. So we're excited to have new team join Matrix World, and also work on the future of Matrix World. And one of the key things that Josh works on is kind of talking about ways that we can engage users and keep them coming back. So if you want more information about this stuff, it is all on our Medium as well. So feel free to dig in or join our Discord. We'll have some links at the end of this one. And the last recent milestone, which has happened in the last couple of weeks, was that we actually announced our internal alpha. So we're going through and releasing some information about that and some sneak peeks from that there. If you are interested in Matrix World, I suggest going to matrixworld.org, or you can follow us on The Matrix World on Twitter. All our links, you can go to linktree/The Matrix World and you'll find all the information about us. Thank you for digging with me about Matrix World. You will have to listen to me for a little bit longer because now we're going to talk about Matrix Market. And Matrix Market is the first all-in-one marketplace for creators, collectors, and traders on Flow. Now, for those who don't know much about Flow, the blockchain, it's roughly about 2 years old and was actually created by the same people that created CryptoKitties, which is Dapper Labs. And I mentioned those names earlier on when I was talking about Matrix World. The thing to bear in mind with Flow is the focus is on security and also transaction cost and transaction speed. So it's great for things like applications and games, and it would work great for the CryptoKitties model if they were to do it again. So being that Flow is still in its early stages, it's given us a great opportunity to innovate and develop a marketplace that is not on Flow already. We would like to think we're the most Web3 aligned marketplace that there is, and we're one of the only marketplaces that actually does a full blockchain scan. So as soon as the project is minted, it can be listed on our storefront. Now, there's still room for development and we still want to innovate as we continue, but we've already worked on integrating things such as collection rankings and statistics, detailed activity tracking, the ability to make and accept offers, NFT and NFT collection creation tools, multi-wallet support, and the customizable user profiles. And that's just naming a few things that we've kind of worked on in our first month. Some of the really exciting stuff, and we'll look at that in a minute, is that Flow just turned to a permissionless deployment blockchain, which means your contracts don't need to be approved. And that's really going to help the artists and the creators that are out there on the Flow chain. So, all right, this is a little promo video we did only a few weeks ago. Let's have a look. Welcome to Matrix Market, the first all-in-one marketplace for creators, collectors, and traders on Flow. Here we have our landing page with a simple overview with latest, explore, top collections and hot collections. We make everything easy to view with our explore window that shows you all the latest NFTs and easy to view artist, prices and what's going on in the market. View the collections on our platform and also the artists behind them. We have our top collections, which list on a daily, 7-day or 30-day time range. We're introducing the ability to create NFTs as a collection or individually themselves. We are the only marketplace that allows you to do this. The platform we've created is not only easy to create your NFTs, but also manage those NFTs as well. We've also made sure that you can easily make and accept offers on NFTs that you're interested in. Owning an NFT is more than just a picture, so we want to make sure you have the ability to create your own custom profiles. We welcome you to Matrix Market. Matrix Market, we're focusing on 3 different types of users, and we'll go into those each individually in a second. But they are creators, collectors, and traders. Now for the creators, we give users the ability to create an NFT collection under a collection name of their choice. And this is thanks to permissionless contract deployment coming out. So now on our marketplace, you can actually create your own contract under your name and mint NFTs directly from that contract, which is really cool because now users won't be locked into a storefront contract, or comparing it to, say, Ethereum, you won't be on the OpenSea storefront, or you won't be on the Rarible storefront. You can actually have your own contract, which is really cool. The other thing that we're doing with creators is actually we have something called a launch pad. So we're helping to launch their projects on our marketplace. It might be that we use our launch pad page or tab on our website, or it might be that we help them deploy it from their website. Next one, we look at collectors. We wanted to make it easier for collectors to find the NFT they want. So we've worked on building a marketplace where we'll have better sorting using a range of filtering options, trade history, and rarity tools. Last one we look at is traders, and an important part of NFT trading is data. So when you're looking at NFT on a marketplace, you'll be able to see key pieces of information to ensure you're getting the best deal possible. We plan to have detailed NFT information, including providing offer functionality, NFT sales activity, and rarity all in one place. And we're actually a blockchain, we'll look at that in 1 second, that syncs all the data across all marketplaces, so you actually see all sales on what was happening on that contract. These key features do go hand in hand with what I was just talking about there, but we're going to go a little bit deeper into those as well. So the first one I want to talk about is a complete blockchain sync. Now, we currently are in the process of back syncing all the data on Flow to make sure all the collections that have ever been minted on Flow are added to our marketplace. Now, we are the only marketplace on Flow that is currently doing this or trying to achieve this as well. So we're going to have all the data from previous sales, previous minted collections, everything that we can there. We'll make sure they're listed on our marketplace. Next one we're going to have is automatic integration. So we are more aligned with the typical Web3 marketplaces where we are constantly scanning for new collections to be released whenever there's a new block created. So as soon as there's a new contract that's created, it will automatically appear on our marketplace. And then if it's able to, and all the metadata and everything lines up, then we will be actually able to trade it on our marketplace as well. And currently we're using Blockto and 𝗙𝗏𝗏 on our websites, and we're looking to integrate Dapper in the future as well. So we really want to try and get all of these NFT collections all in one place. But if you go to our activity section of our website, you can actually see new contracts that are created no matter what wallet they're using. So Dapper, 𝗙𝗏𝗏, Blockto, you can actually see the new contracts that are being created as well. As mentioned before, we have created the NFT collection creation tool. So it's very exciting that people can now have their own contract under their own name and then mint NFTs there. So a lot of projects are using it for, one-off runs, or artists that want to release their photography, or maybe just have a place to sell a few items. It's not a typical place where you upload 10,000 NFTs. It's more of those smaller runs that people tend to do. But the great thing about this is that even if you put in your traits, automatic rarities collected, you can have all your website linked in. So it's a really great starting place for a lot of people to create their own collections. Here's a little how-to video that we released just the other day. Today, Matrix Market released their permissionless contract deployment, and I'm going to show you how easy it is to use. On the homepage, or clicking up on the create button, you can get straight underway. From here, you'll be at your create a new item page, and this is where you mint NFTs from. But what we want to do is actually go in and create a new collection. Now it's really this easy. I'm going to call mine 𝗓𝗏𝗃𝗃𝗏𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃 And what is going to be? It's just art. And what you want to do is go through, create a description, add the category, add your royalties. So you can paste in whatever address you want there, a percentage, and you can add multiple royalty addresses as well. Choose your logo. And we just want to wait for that transaction to go through. And one thing I should note is that you make sure you need to be using 𝗲𝗏𝗀𝗏𝗏 wallet as well. Brilliant, so now you can see we've created my collection, 𝗓𝗏𝗀𝗏𝗀𝗏𝗀𝗏𝗀𝗏𝗀𝗏𝗀𝗏𝗀𝗏𝗀𝗏𝗀𝗏𝗀𝗏𝗀𝗏𝗀𝗏𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 𝗓𝗏𝗃𝗃𝗀𝗏s, and I've already got the actual contract name that ends in 𝗓𝗏𝗃𝗀𝗏s. You can actually edit this straight away as well if you need to, if you've done something wrong here. But bear in mind, this won't change the actual contract that you've created before or the name of that contract. You can change your royalties and everything like that in there as well. But the thing you want to do now is go back to create, and this is where you can add your actual NFTs. So let's choose a file to upload. And we're just going to call them all 𝗓𝗏𝗃𝗀𝗏s. We don't worry about a description for that one, but make sure you select your actual collection that you created. And we're going to add some traits, so background, white, and cubes, purple. Awesome, so we're just going to approve that transaction, and then you would have successfully minted your first NFT. Now from here you can put it up for sale, or you can have people make bids on it, and you can do whatever you want to actually put that transaction through. Let's have a look at my NFT, see how it looks. Awesome, right away you can see that the properties, we've got the background white, the cubes are purple, and we can put it up for sale. So it is that easy to create your own NFT. I'm going to do another one and we're going to make it a little bit different. 𝗓𝗏𝗃𝗀𝗏2. Make sure we select it. Now the thing that we should be able to see once this one goes through is actually that the rarity percentages should change as well. Alright, let's have a look at that NFT. As you can see, it's a 50% chance that you'll get a green cube, and let's do one more just for fun. Make it a different background as well. So one thing that I will mention is that you still need to be quite careful when creating your NFTs. And the reason why I say that is because you don't get a chance to redo these NFTs. Once you create them, they are finished and they are as they are. So you can't change your properties, you can't change anything like that from there on out. The other thing to bear in mind, most tokens start at 0, so you'll notice this is number 2 when I've called it number 3. It's a little thing if you want to make sure they're all up to date or not. Alright, as we can see my 3 cubes here. They're arranged in their variety and the rarity. So you've got a 66% chance you'll get a white background, 33% purple because there's only one of them. And then this one here, you have a 33% chance of getting an orange cube and a blue background. So, well, this is it. Happy creating, and we look forward to seeing what you can come up with. Next, we have detailed statistics. As I talked about before, we do sync trading data no matter where the NFT was traded on Flow. So if you look at our sales or our transfer or our activity in the activity tab, you can actually see when it was last sold or how much it was sold for or where it was transferred from. And lastly, as mentioned, we do have our project launch pad. And so if you are interested in getting in touch or launching an NFT project on Flow, you're welcome to submit your project to us, and you can jump in our Discord and have a chat about that, and we'll see if we can support your project. Being that Matrix Market has only been live for just over a month now, we're extremely happy with how far we've come. Everything from the permissionless contract deployment to actually selling and minting out our own NFT collection for the Matrix Marketplace, which was Flonia. Part of Flonia, we had a mint of 1,000, 7,000 were giving away to users who registered to Matrix Market, and 2,000 was held aside for Matrix World landowners. So we're extremely excited with how far we've progressed in just such a short time, and we're looking forward to what we can do in the future and things going forward as well. If you are interested or want to look at Matrix Market, please go to matrixmarket.xyz. Feel free to join our Twitter, and there'll be links on the Twitter to our Discord. Thank you very much for having me today. It's very exciting to talk about two really interesting projects, and especially their development is still in the early days as well. So if you are interested, please make sure you jump into our Twitters, Discord, come say hi. I'm in both the Discords. My name is Frankincense, so feel free to tag me and say that you came from the video. I appreciate that, and thank you again, and have a great day. Bye.
Well, thank you, Daniel. For our next guest, we have Ren-Chen from Monolabs. And Ren-Chen is the CEO and founder of Monolabs. You may start whenever you're ready, Ren-Chen.
Hello, everyone. I'm Ren-Chen, and I'm the founder and the CEO of Monolabs. So before we started, I'd like to thank you everybody's time for listening to us. And I also would like to thank for the Matrix Lab to inviting us. Also, I want to say sorry if my English grammar is not that good enough, but trust me, you won't feel boring when you listen to me. So we position ourselves that we are building the real blockchain game on Flow. And in this deck and in this presentation, I will show you why and how we could say that. So the first thing is that where is the opportunity? So when blockchain technologies keep developing, people think it's going to change a lot of industrial. And most importantly, it's definitely going to change the gaming industrial because it enable a lot of features that the traditional game can never provide. The first thing is that with the NFT technology, the user can really have the ownership. They really own the assets. And ownership is the first step. The second step is tradability. But that's not the most important thing. The most important thing is that it enables cross-game interportability. If you think about Nintendo has a lot of IP, and the IP was quite success. But even those quite success IP, they are hard to integrate it or interpret with different games. And what blockchain can do, the most immediate space is that it can help the game to integrate with other games. And that's what we're doing right now. So right now that we see some gap between the blockchain game and the traditional gaming industrial. The first thing is that for the Web2 developer and the user, they are hard to understand the blockchain. For example, if you're telling a Web2 user, say, hey, you're going to pay fee for each transaction, like for each move you made, that was like quite humiliating to them. And then you're going to tell them like every time the transaction fee might be different due to the different token price, different need of blockchain, and sometimes you might even fail due to the high need of the blockchain. If you do that to Web2 developers, they're going to feel like you're insane. They're not going to accept it. So what we're doing right now is that we're bringing a one-stop experience for game developer and also the gamers, that we want all the game can be integrated with the blockchain seamlessly. And the most important thing, we think this will reshape the business model of gaming industrial. So before we started, I would like to give a brief introduction about what we are doing right now. So what is our platform that we are building? The first thing is that we are building a blockchain APIs for the developer. The developer can use our API to issue the NFT, read the metadata, and to trade the asset easily. The second thing is that we build a game offering platform that we can help the game developer to sell the NFTs or tokens, and even the non-blockchain games can list in mono. And we are going to just be another Steam with lower fees for the developer. The third thing is that we are going to provide a multiple trading experience. You can trade trading our website just like OpenSea, or you can use our building API to build a seamless asset, seamless experience for the users. So the user only need to click in the market and he can connect it to the blockchain and access the global liquidity through our API. Lastly, we build our own gaming community. We spot that most of the traditional game studios, they fail to build a community because like running a community is quite different for a single studio. So we are more than happy to help the developer to manage a sub-channel in our community that we have community across Discord, Twitter, Line, and QQ at this moment. And this is a front page of our platform. And so right now that our custody service and NFT distribution is totally working right now, that we have launched our own IP, was called the Monolabs. We have launched 10,000 black box through our own platform. And we created 15,000, sorry for that. And we have created a 15,000 block wallet and issues 10,000 of our black box. And all these black box can be withdrawn from our platform and trade on the mattress market. Because at this moment that our own marketplace is still building. So right now that the users still need to trade in the mattress market with Blockto and the Lyrical wallet. However, this is the brief introduction about our platform, and in the next few minutes, I would like to introduce Monolabs. I mean, I'm trying to be humble, but we probably the first blockchain gaming IP on floor. You're probably gonna ask like, what is the difference between like a blockchain game? Like, how do you say you guys an IP? Because we think more importantly, IPs are about how people loving you. They come to you because they like you, because they are fans of you, not just because they can earn from here. That's really important. So we are actually building a PFP project plus the blockchain game. So first of all, we are a PFP project. We have 12,500 monocats. We already issued the 10,000 of them. We also have 2,500 reserved for our marketing events in the future. As you can see, our storage and our art design here. And the reason we are building a PFP because we want the community to plug in with us. We want to build this IP with community together. If any of you is familiar with the Japanese ACG, you are going to know that there's an IP called Toho Project. Toho Project is mostly built by the community, but without NFT. So when we implement the NFT technology in here, that we can actually give the NFT holders, which is also early supporter, a lot of benefit. So the first thing is that you are going to receive the in-game benefit, like you're going to receive the tools, the tokens from our blockchain game. The second thing is that you have the right to recreation, and you can earn from the recreation. However, the third thing we're doing right now is that we're building our own blockchain game. It's called the Mono Cafe. And in our story, that when those NFT, they actually represent an outer space creature called the Monolabs, and they come to Earth, they wanna have a great relationship with our human, but they need to learn how the human works at first. That's why we help them to build this Mono Cafe. And as a gamer and also the holder of the NFT, it was your duty to guide your cats to build the cafe and to serve the clients. But our ultimate goal is that we're going to create a monoverse with all of our IP and unifying the tokenomics. We are not just going to build this only one IP, we are going to build a couple IP that was on our pipeline. So let me share more about our IP right now. If you see that, you can see our NFT design. This actually was collected from our special collection, which is the 12 Toho monocats. They were raised by the Asian master. And then you can see our sticker right now that we are publishing our sticker in WeChat, Line, and also Discord and Telegram. You will soon see them. The third part is our key vision. As you guys can see that we use a very cartoon and ACG style, because we think that this was perfectly suitable for the audience of Flow. However, I need to say sorry again. No, nobody wants to read the words, but that's how our roadmap is. It's a lot of words. But let me give a sum up in here. The first thing we do is that we send an NFT, what's called the 𝗔𝗧. It's already finished, and we are already open our black box. The second stage is that we are going to produce a staking game. In this staking game, that the user can learn the stories and start to generate some truths in the upcoming game. The third part is that we're going to launch our business simulation game called Monolabs, as I have introduced before. The fourth part, our NFT can be evolved. And this evolve means the user can modify the NFT. We think this, I'm sorry, I think I'm not really fully covered from the COVID-19. In the stage 4, that we want every user can modify their NFT just like GTR. You know, the true meaning of having a GTR is the exhaustive pipeline must be on fire, right? It's that you can modify your car, just like you can modify your loved NFT. You can choose a lot of things to change your NFT. I can't disclose a lot right now because we want to keep it surprise for the future. So the stage 5, I'm going to tell you guys, we are going to keep creating this game. The business simulation game, maybe the TCG card game, maybe a racing game. You will never know. Just like you will never imagine what will the next game of Nintendo. However, in the last part, I would like to go back to the first topic, that how blockchain can change the gaming industry. Right now that we are building an example for the Web2 game developer that using the loyalty fee module to replace the traditional module. So traditional business module comes from 3 ways. The first way is in-game purchase, just like Genshin Impact or the mobile game, what they did. And the second way is the sales of copy, just like most of the idle games in the Steam. The third way is that you can sell the time card, just like World of Warcraft, but basically only the AAA game can do that. So the pros and cons are quite visible. For the cons, I don't want to sum up again, but I think you already know it. So the most important part is if we move to loyalty fees module, like what can the advantage might be. So first of all, you can have a sustainable cash flow, like the trading was happening every day. You earn the loyalty fees. The second thing is that we actually share our value with the gamer, with our own community. So in the in-game purchase module, like most of in-game purchase module, that every studio must balance the gamer's experience and the income of the studio. If you want more income, like probably you're going to hurt the experience of the users. But in the loyalty fees module, the only thing you need to do is that you create a better experience and people do the trading by themselves. And third thing is that the early supporter, aka the NFT holder, they can benefit from the growth of the company and also the growth of the community. So I think that this will incentive every single holder to do the marketing for the gamer, right? For example, that I play a lot of mobile game, but I don't want to recommend them to my friends because I don't even know my friend would like them or not, and I don't have any benefit from that. But if I'm holding an NFT, I'm holding a token, I'm so connected with the studio, I'm more than happy to share it with more friends as I can do. So that's why we need a heritage asset. Lastly, this will enable the interportable opportunity, which means the game can integrate with each other that we are working on right now. So however, lastly, I'd like to say, come and build with us. If you're interested in our project, you can check our social link in here. Just remember, it's monocast.xyz. You click it, you can see our Twitter, our Discord, our front page, and join our family right now. Thanks everybody for your time, and I to apologize for my COVID-19.
Well, thank you, Renchen. And we've just went through these very interesting projects, and we'll go further on some more specific questions related to NFTs. We have invited speakers from both industrial and universities today. So first of all, please introduce yourselves to our audience. And Lin, would you like to open for us?
Oh, okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Xiao. You can also call me Lin. I'm the founder of ChainID. It is a great honor to have this online panel with all our friends. So ChainID is a cloud-based integrated development environment that can help the development of smart contracts. It is the first multi-chain ID that supports blockchain ecosystems such as Ethereum, Flow, BNB chain, and also 𝗿𝗏𝗡𝗏s. Yeah, we have already supported 𝗿𝗏𝗡𝗏s. So operational in more than 185 countries, ChainID has compiled more than 8.5 million smart contracts and stands as one of the leading cloud-based ID platforms in the crypto space. We also have a great ecosystem and a lot of amazing friends in the Web3 world, such as Matrix World, 𝗖𝗵𝗶𝗱, Metaverse Labs from 𝗙𝗏 Shenzhen, Monolabs, and 𝗏𝗏𝗄𝗃. So hope we have a great panel in the next 15 minutes.
Okay, thank you. And Professor Cai, would you like to be the second one?
Sure. Hi. This is Wei from the Chinese University of Hong Kong, Shenzhen. I'm assistant professor in computer engineering, and I'm leading a team of about 20 members doing research in metaverse and Web3. Our research is more rely on network, multimedia, human factors. So we have a collaborative research lab with WhiteMatrix. Yeah, so I'm happy to share our views with everyone today.
And GC, could you to be the third one?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, hey guys, great to be here. I am co-founder of 𝗏𝗏𝗡𝗃, so just filling in for Moon today. So what we're doing at 𝗏𝗏𝗡𝗃 is essentially building the next generation NFT services for NFT communities and for DAOs. So over the last year, we have seen the emergence of a lot of NFTs from PFP to more utility-filled projects like Moonbirds, 𝗿𝗏𝗴𝗃, etc. So what we're essentially doing right now is scaling that kind of NFT utility services and make them available for all NFT projects as well as DAOs. So yeah, it's great to be here and looking forward to the discussion with you all today.
Thank you. Ms. Tang?
Hey, hello. Can you hear me?
Hello. Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, so nice to meet you, everyone. I'm Diana Tang. I'm the founder of 𝗖𝗵𝗶𝗱 and 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗃, which is a company to help creators to use their NFT. So I'm the first person to introduce CryptoPunk to China, and then I am a very positive person in crypto art and the NFT field. Then I am also a very positive person in the DAO. And 𝗖𝗵 is the most powerful or the biggest DAO in China now. So I'm very glad to be in that talk with you.
All right. The first question we want to go through is after a hot outing in 2021 and the shakeout in the crypto asset market this year, the NFT market has recently cooled down. So could you guys please talk about what you think the next phase for the NFT market and NFT will be? Maybe Lin, you may open for us.
Oh, sure, yeah. So I think the NFT market just passed its first wave of alpha. So we see 3 waves of alpha opportunities in the Web3 market. So NFTs definitely is the biggest one in the last cycle. So in the next stage, I think NFTs may have many new features and maybe experiment services built on NFTs in the future. There will be a big merge of Web2 and Web3 world in the future, and these features may need to attract more Web2 users. At present, we do need people from the Web2 world. If not, the whole market will basically too many bubbles at present. So, however, there are many parameters that may affect the market in the next stage. For example, the world economy is not stable, and also Ethereum is facing the transformation from POW to POS, and too many possibilities may happen. Thus, I think in the future, if the area can attract more users from the Web2 world, and that will still be fantastic. Otherwise, we may see a global recession of NFTs in one way or another in the next 3 months, maybe. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Professor 𝗙.
Okay, I think it's no surprise that we are experiencing the downside of the NFT because there are apparently lots of bubbles there. But I believe NFT is the foundation of Web3 metaverse. I mean, we need something, right? We need some solid merchants for the users, the buyers in the Web3 metaverse society. So without NFT, there's nothing but just tokens. Yeah, and of course, NFTs, especially the PFPs, they are much better things to convey the community and convey the consensus. So I think when the next wave of the metaverse comes back, currently we can see a lot of teams are building the metaverse. So when the next wave is coming back, NFT will be the foundation. Yeah. So still, I'm very positive on the future of the NFT. Yeah.
Okay. All right. JC, you may start whenever you're ready.
Right. So I agree with Xiao with what he said about we've just witnessed the first wave of NFT. I think because of the current market conditions, even despite the current market conditions, there's still a lot going on and still a lot of growth that we can see in the NFT market. So the market condition has cleared out, has weeded out a lot of bubbles, a lot of bad NFT projects. So I think in general, what that means for the overall market is that nowadays NFT projects are pushing more for utilities, right? So beforehand, we had a lot of NFT projects with zero utilities, with just a PFP. But these days, I think with the proliferation of a lot of, for example, land NFT projects or even just utility NFTs. So even if a community is launching an NFT collection, nowadays they are launching it with the utility for their collection. So I think we're seeing like a more gradual progress towards giving NFTs real world utilities. And we're also seeing that in the physical front, right? With a lot of museums, a lot of fashion brands adopting licensed NFT collections and sell it out to their fan base and user base, customer base. So I think there is, even though the overall capitalization of the market has gone down currently, the total number of use cases in the NFT industry has increased. So I think there's like two sides of the same coin. Whereas, yeah, on the one hand, we are going through a bit of a cycle right now, but on the other hand, the real world utilities of the NFTs are being expanded.
Very interesting. So, Miss Tang?
I think it's very interesting because I have gone through the history of DeFi NFT, and now the Vitalik just put through the concept of SBT. So what I saw is a history of how people just go from the physical world to the virtual world. And why I believe that NFT must be our future is that it's a very, very important part of the Web3 culture and the society. And I think the DeFi, NFT, and SBT, and something else will form our, form the human's future and help us to build something very, very new for the human. So I'm a person goes from the NFT to the DAO field. And I think the digital nation and the society is the kind of world which we will live in the future. Now we are in the world where the country, the nation can be a harmful concept for the human because we have many. We are going in the world of war, and we are fighting with each other. However, by using NFT and SBT, we may build something very new, and we can go to where we want. As for now, we have definitely go through the bubble burst for the NFT, but in the future, we may see a very wonderful world. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for speaking, Ms. Tang. And the second question is, although the NFT market has tended to cool down, there are still some promising projects. Can you please talk about what qualities you generally look for when investing in NFT projects? Well, I guess Lin, you may start.
Yeah, sure. So I think the builder's background and what they plan to do is the most significant things. So we love to see NFT to be the totem of the Web3 world, but we still want to see what the community will do under the totem. The NFTs can help the teams to get their first 10K users, but how to lead the community and how to bring them on the right way is critical. We see some projects want to build games, and some communities want to build CC0 NFTs. There are too many things you can do, but the most important thing is let the teams know what they will do in the future. So in short, from my point of view, I would love to see some long-term builders with great vision and achieve their milestones step by step, and that will be fabulous. Yeah.
Okay, Professor Cai.
Okay, so I kind of agree with Ling. I think from my perspective, when I'm trying to review an NFT project, well, if you're talking about state of the art, I believe the founders, the team are very important. We want to check the backgrounds, what they have done, already accomplished before, what will be their commitments, can they fulfill their roadmap. Those will be the most important factors in current state of the art projects. But from a long-term perspective, I think the community will be more important, okay, because that will be something, Web3 differs from Web2, okay, because it is the most key factors will be the involvement of the community. Yeah, so from a long-term perspective, I would prefer to get involved in those communities, those communities that have a lot of Web3 native person, crypto native person. Yeah, that will be my choices when I'm trying to check NFT is good or not. Yeah.
Okay, JC.
Right. So I think there's a couple of verticals that we can look at to sort of speculate and assess how NFT is going to be used in the next cycle, or what is going to sort of lead to the boom of mass adoption of NFTs, right? So because right now, mostly what you have with the major utility of NFT is PFP, primarily in the Web3 world. And that mostly exists on a case-by-case basis. So like each PFP NFT is used within a specific community and is not interoperable into other ecosystems, metaverses, or DAOs, right? So I think a really interesting use case of NFT is actually identity NFT, or decentralized identity DID NFT, because once you have that kind of identity infrastructure based on NFTs, what that means is you can use NFTs across different ecosystems. So that kind of potential utility there created by multiple ecosystems user base, I think would be very powerful. And then also, I think a really good criterion to assess the quality of an NFT project is how much utility, something I alluded to earlier, how much utility that they can generate, right? If it's within a DAO setting, how much utility, how much governance right, how much retroactive reward right, access into physical real world settings, for example, how much of these utilities will be granted to the NFT holders as the members of that DAO, as the members of the community. That is very important, right? So a good example is even Goblin Town said they didn't have a roadmap, right? Which is one of the high points that they essentially banded on. Even though they said they had no roadmap, but actually they did, right? They launched their derivative collection, and a lot of Goblin Town holders are using them as as NFT member tokens. So even though a lot of these NFT projects don't have that kind of obvious membership benefits, but I think if you want your NFT collection to be sustainable and wanted have demand in the market in the long term, you have to sort of plan your benefits and membership rights for your for your NFT at least at some level, right? So I think utility plays a huge role here. And even if you do not have inborn embedded utilities for your token holders yourself, you could work with like NFT service projects, other NFT service provider projects, right? Which is what we do. So in case of a project doesn't have that kind of long-term sustaining utility and benefits for their NFT membership, we sort of provide that kind of services to help them grow in the long term. Yeah.
Okay, Ms. Tang.
I think the trick to investing future is to choose which side to stand on. So what I care about is that what we can do with NFTs, what kind of NFT will we need to in the future. For example, using NFT as a switch to connect the virtual world and the real world. When we hold NFT assets, for example, when we hold an NFT assets in DAO, we can use the NFT to unlock the corresponding permission in the real world. Now, I am in Dali, a very interesting city in China, and CDAO is building an offline space in Dali, and we are experimenting with the CDAO's NFT, which means the SGN, to manage this offline space. For example, we can use the SGN to decide who can live here and who can initiate, for example, reading activities here. It's very interesting. It's not just, you have a PFP, I have a PFP, we are talking online. So what we don't know what to do in the next. However, when you try to connect it, we will have many possibilities. And I think when we try to build an IPC with NFTs, it's very difficult because building an IPC itself is very difficult. It's nothing to do with NFTs, but to do with the IPC. So about maybe the 99% of people will fail in this field. However, when you try to organize people with NFTs, it may be very powerful. So I will invest in the NFTs, which will become the most important organizations in the future, as I think, for example, you can invest in the most cool religions, political parties, and the cyber states, the digital nations in the world, and you can buy their NFTs. It's like you are just try to invest very early United States. Now, I think you will get very wealthy. When your choices are right, you will get very wealthy in the world in the future. And now we can see that the Moonbird announced today that it's moving to the CC0. It's kind of interesting because we think the Moonbird was the most powerful PFP project because its founder was very strong. However, today they announced to change. Some people think that they're just rag, and I think it may be kind of along to the PFP project because with the most powerful people with the huge kind of money, they cannot win in this field. You can think that what's the next step for the NFTs? I think it's not just the PFP, but something which may go more deeply in the future. Yeah.
Okay. The third question is, when we talk about the utility value of NFT, most users only use NFT for image collection and avatar set. What are the other use cases of NFT?
Okay.
Yeah, you don't have to wait my voice, you can just follow the sequence. Yeah.
Yeah, we get the idea. Yeah. So I will list two examples maybe that I think out of my mind. The first thing is SocialFi. So we see the Web3 world will have a totally different way to communicate and to connect each other. So we may want to use Twitter, Instagrams in the Web2 world. However, these projects are built on our connections in the Web2 world. For example, they may be our friends, they may be our colleagues or classmates. So let's think about the Web3 world. Well, I would love to chat with the people who buy the same NFTs as me. And I would love to talk about people to stake the same DeFi as me. And also I would love to chat with my teammates in the same guild about what are incoming GameFis. So SocialFi is one NFT, is one of the usage the NFTs can do in the future. The second one is GameFi. So we see GameFi is another usage of NFTs in the future. A lot of Web3 games gather their communities and do the pre-sales, do the crowdfundings, and also you can iteratively build some new features and the crypto assets based on the NFTs. So this make a lot of difference other than some centralized data storage in the Web2 game company. So so from my point of view, I think SocialFi and GameFi are two significant usage of NFTs in the future. Yeah.
Yeah, I have the same feeling. I think, yeah, I mean, they mentioned the SocialFi, but I would say currently we don't have a sophisticated SocialFi product, right? But still, we already have the NFT as a 𝗿𝗲𝗱𝗏, right? So if you use Decentraland, you can connect with Collabland so that they can use it as a 𝗿𝗏𝗱. You are able to enter the channels, the special channels that with special NFTs. So technically now the NFTs are serving as the decentralized identity. Okay, but from a long-term perspective, I mean, yeah, I have the same feeling. The GameFi in the GameFi, or probably we can further extend the range of GameFi into, let's say, some sandbox or metaverse projects that the NFT will be serving as the goods, okay, in the digital world, so that you can have specific items that have properties, have special utilities in this virtual world. Yeah, that would be my feeling. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I just want to quickly follow up on that, on what Xiao said about the SocialFi utility and applications of NFT. I think that's super interesting because even though we have like overall like a lot of different verticals in crypto already. So we have DeFi, we have NFT, we have GameFi. We haven't seen a SocialFi application or that part of the industry really taking off. And I think that's because we have just experienced the first wave of NFT, and a lot of what SocialFi is going to be capable of hinges very heavily on the usage of NFT. So and just take a very good, very like simple example, right? So if you want to have like a Web3 native social profile, you can use it. You can use your NFT for it, right? You can use your PFP or any NFT from any given NFT collection, and then you can build your Web3 native social profile by aggregating the various data from through the graph, Ceramic, Monolabs, RC3, etc., to your NFT profile, and essentially what you end up with is just a Web3 native social profile that you can use in social settings. And then the question becomes, what kind of protocols, social network, or platforms would support or would allow the integrations of these Web3 native social profiles? Because the benefit of using NFT in SocialFi is huge, because that essentially means you can send peer-to-peer transactions between the different wallets under that social profile directly, right? Because on Twitter, on Discord, the two platforms that are used by a lot of NFT communities and crypto users, they do not allow peer-to-peer crypto transactions at all. And the same thing goes for a lot of the apps on iOS stores and Android stores, because essentially those centralized platforms gatekeep these crypto integrated platforms and apps from their app stores. So essentially, once you have like a SocialFi application, a SocialFi profile, you can build like a social network application on top of it. And that's, I think, where NFT is going to get super interesting and gain a lot of mass adoption, because once you build a social network and you build a mobile app on it, a lot of people can use it on their mobile phones, and then there could be a lot of like mobile traction and usage of NFT from there.
Maybe Diana?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the last bull market, NFT become popular because of the crypto art, and then the bull market of the NFT just moved to the PFP. So it's kind of succession. The PFP is, however, PFP is an improvement over the crypto art because it places more emphasis on the community. This trend will, I think this trend will intensify in the future. So there are many uses for the NFT, except they are very beautiful. You can watch it and you can use it as your avatar. I can give a conclusion. NFT will become the most important certificate of rights in the Web3 world in the future. It's a very, very important thing. And it may become the minimum unit of rights in the Web3 world. So you can use it as a certificate to the physical world, such as, I think there will be many token-gated physical spaces in the future, a hall, a house, and even an island. Maybe you will have an NFT to enter a country, not just your identity certificate. And you may use NFT as the resident status to the digital nation, which corresponds to your political identity in this digital nation. And you may use NFT as the right to unlock something such as a DAO's archive, your library, your digital library, and everything you created in the Web3 world. So I think after the PLP wave, we may enter a very deep digital world where you can use every kind of NFT, some NFT to unlock small thing, and some NFT to unlock very, very big thing, something maybe very important to your life. Yeah. Okay,
I just want to chip in because like token gated physical space access was mentioned there. We at Matopia are actually working with a project called the Moongate. So what they do essentially is that they have a mobile lab, and then when we integrate with them, because we essentially provide NFT identity services and reward services for a lot of like NFT DAOs and communities, right? So we are working with them essentially such that once the integration is complete, the DAOs and the members of those DAOs on Matopia would be able to access certain physical locations that we have partnership with. So that means essentially, because we are sort of like a DAO aggregator, NFT community aggregator. So so for all the DAOs that are onboarded on our protocol, they and their members would then be able to access those token-gated physical locations with their NFT membership, right? Because those physical locations have secured a partnership with us, so we will be able to provide them the access to those physical locations, and then they can use the location for like work meetings, project meetups, etc. So I mean, I think the overall idea of just this token-gated physical location access is really powerful, and we saw that during NYC NFT already. So when I was in NYC NFT, there was a lot of locations that you could simply access with the proof of you holding that NFT. And then once you have proved your membership of that NFT community, then you can get access. So that's like super interesting. I think we are just getting started into that realm. Yeah.
It's very cool. I will talk with this thing later, so we can go on.
Okay. The fourth question is, The British Museum, the Russian National Museum, and other world famous museums started to enter the NFT industry last year. So same scenario happens in the luxury industries. For example, the Louis Vuitton and Burberry. So does this indicate that the mainstream market recognize the value of NFT? And what measures do you think that can be taken to reduce the conflicts that new concepts or new technologies squeeze into the traditional markets?
Okay, maybe start from me. Yeah. So we always talk about how to bring more Web2 users and Web2 players into the Web3 world. So I think I can give 3 examples to illustrate how to attract Web2 users and how to attract them into the Web3 world. So the first one is use the way the Web2 users are more convenient and more comfortable with. For example, the British Museum, what they do is they put a big logo and a label, and they say scan it to buy NFTs of some souvenirs. So they treat it as digital souvenirs for their customers, and all the visitors are be able to scan the QR code and to buy the NFTs of the British Museum. This one is very smart, and we see a lot of Web2 IPs and Web2 companies try to reach these things. And the second example is apply the function Web2 users know what they need to do. For example, 𝗙𝗏𝗏 and 𝗙𝗵𝗔, you run with the shoes and you will be able to gain something, or you play with the games, you will be able to gain something. So this one is simple and clear. And for the Web2 users, they are be able to play with the apps, maybe dApps, I should say. They can play with the dApps or the GameFi, and they can earn what they want. So this is one way to attract some Web2 users, and this is also very smart. And the third example will be present the idea or the philosophy the users want to support. For example, such as 𝗲𝗏𝗡. So many use diversify creators. They love to support the ideas, and also monocats. I see a lot of people love the cute kitties, and they enjoy to buy monocats. So all these things is how to attract more Web2 users into the Web3 world. And I think this is the way I understand, and maybe I can give some suggestions. Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. It's always good to see those traditional business get involved in NFT business. Well, even for short-term, perspective, I'm not that optimistic regarding those giants, because, to be honest, most of them are using NFTs, Web3 concept just as a stance to attract traditional people in traditional business. Okay, that will be just one way of making more money in traditional markets. But especially, there are lots of problems in NFT so far, especially from the perspective of copyright. For example, when you purchase an NFT from traditional IP, traditional Web2 markets, do you really own the copyright of your items? I don't think so, right? Because there are still legal issues involved in NFT and copyrights. So from this perspective, the values sell. Okay, so from those traditional markets, they're completely different from Web3 worlds. Yeah, that will be my concern. But from long-term perspective, I'm very positive with these involvements. Again, I think community building is the most important thing in Web3 and also in Metaverse. And the involvement of those big companies, those traditional giants, will definitely help us to broadcasting the idea of Web3 decentralizations, Metaverse, and NFT and everything. So, the value of these digital assets will be, including the NFTs, will be better recognized as the new generation. Okay, they were born in digital worlds, and they get in touch with this concept in the first beginning. We have more and more people get involved in Web3, and definitely these the values of these Web3 results, will be definitely better recognized. Yeah, that will be my feeling.
I'll just do a very brief response to that. I think in terms of all of these more official institutions using NFT to sort of broadcast their branding, broadcast their digital collections, and also sort of just using this to grow their revenue source a bit. I think all this is good from the perspective of essentially providing education for the retail market. A lot of the problem is, a big chunk of the problem is that a lot of retail users from the non-crypto sector don't know much about what they can do with an NFT, right? And the most straightforward use of NFT is digital collectibles, which is what all of these museums and some fashion brands are doing. I don't think overall this sort of franchised or institutional usage of NFT digital collectibles would lead to meaningful conversion from the non-crypto sector into the crypto sector. But what that is good for, what that is good for is essentially helping people understand that NFT is something accessible to their everyday life, that it's not out of touch. And I think it does sort of serve as a good channel for the non-crypto retail market to explore the crypto NFT market in a deeper way. I don't have the numbers right now in terms of how exactly that conversion has worked, but I think in general, once the non-crypto retail market is more familiar with these like NFT digital collectibles, that sort of open a way into the NFT world for them in the crypto sector. And then maybe down the line, once we have sort of a mass adopted crypto dApp on our phone or on our web app somehow, then we will see a really huge, very quick takeoff of the NFT adoption in the mainstream society.
I will continue what I want to say in the last topic. It also has some connection with what we're talking now. Actually, we are living in a time of radical change. So I don't care about how the new market brought by the NFT crowding out the traditional market. The elimination of the old things and the rise of the new trends is a very real thing in the history. In fact, the old world itself is destroying itself. As the war between Russia and Ukraine just expanded, the question is now how to keep the Ukraine and Russia's museums alive. So putting museums collections on the chain may be the salvation of humans' civilization. Therefore, I don't think it's a problem. From another perspective, when the doomsday era comes, there's intangible things that cannot be destroyed, maybe the most important. So I think that the NFT may be more important than what it want to say. For example, we maybe some people maybe want to use the NFT to save the traditional culture. I don't think it. Actually, I think in the future the NFT may be more important than the traditional culture. And now people, especially our Chinese, I think our Chinese, we always think that offline space is more important and the land is important because we are very agricultural. Such as, for example, our grandpa or grandma may be the farmers. So we think the land is important. Our ancestors relocated and they never wanted to leave our homeland for the rest of their lives. But now it seems that the bouquet of land space may not be so that important, and the new generation of the on-chain world will organize the offline world, such as what we just talking about is the token-gated physical space. Yeah, we are using the on-chain. The on-chain world will turn to organize the off-chain world. and a philosopher was to say that they think that the being is very important, but something not being is also very important. For example, he uses the example of caps. You use caps to drink water. The caps are useful not only because of the material to maintain the cap, but also because of the free space. The free space is something that you cannot touch with. Is that the space? But if you don't have the space, if there is just the material, you cannot the cap to drink water. So we may enter arrow that we use the online connections, and it is represented by the NFT and to govern the physical world. I think it's very interesting. As for the traditional things, let it go. Yeah.
Okay. The last question for tonight is the NFT industry is evolving rapidly. So as an industry experts, do you have any advice for those new to the NFT industry?
So yeah, my advice is just do it. Yeah. You may see many Web3 friends are hyped about the industry, and Web3 native users create some interesting words such as 𝗲𝗲𝗴𝗶𝗃𝗃, that means we are gonna make it, and 𝗷𝗲𝗴𝗃𝗃, that means the price goes really high and rapidly. And I think the blockchain, Web3, and NFT change many use destiny at present or in the contemporary society. We see many superstars in this cycle. However, what we must know is the superstars today actually suffer from ultimate pressures in the last bear market. So try to build something, be a long-term builder. That will be really helpful. And moreover, if you can bring in some unique resource, that will be perfect. Yeah.
From my perspective, I would suggest people who are interested in NFT should learn more about the foundations of NFT, especially foundation of blockchain, decentralization, consensus models, and everything, because understanding those underlying technologies will build up a better understanding on the Web3 and also Metaverse community. Yeah, so that's something very important. And in terms of if you're trying to buy some NFT, I believe this is also important as well, right? I mean, you want to get involved in this community, and definitely you want to be part of it. So if you're trying to purchase an NFT, then probably I think you can ask yourself two questions. The first question is that, is it the community you want to involve in, right? I mean, if the particular collection, the community, you like the community or not? This is the first one. And the second question is that, well, you might want to ask yourself, when you purchase the NFT, you consider this NFT as articles of consumption or a investment good, right? So why I ask you this question? Because for myself, when I purchase an NFT, I always hold, because I believe I would like to spend my money on it on this particular price, not just looking for a short-term investment or short-term speculation. Yeah, so you might want to think about it when you're trying to purchase, because the price might be too high, and probably if you only consider as a short-term investment, probably it is not that good. Probably, especially now, the market is with high risk. Yeah, that will be something with my personal suggestions. Yeah.
Right. So I would say if you are looking to get into the NFT market, and if you're looking to buy an NFT, it would be most stress-free for you if it's an NFT that you actually use, or it's a community that you're most likely to participate in, right? So for example, Nouns has been a very good example of a NFT DAO that has a very high member participation rate, right? Because what they essentially do is that they have a community governed treasury, whereas if you are a NFT holder of that collection, then you are able to participate in the governance and how to spend the treasury money. So treasury funding initiatives to allow you to fund various initiatives that you believe will grow the community, right? And then the community together makes a decision on whether or not that proposal will be passed. So if you are looking to get into the NFT market, it's best, I think, if you are part of like these communities where you actually be a participant, where you're actually given certain benefits and rights, where if you are not just looking for the speculative pricing of the NFT, but you're actually going to use it as a utility token, so to speak, right? So I think once you are really a participant, you are not solely looking at the floor price of the NFT, but rather you gain insights into how an NFT project is run and how to grow a community. And then maybe later they just give you more options down the road. Say if you want to transition into a DAO member, if you want to transition into a project founder, right? So once you get more insights inside of these NFT communities by owning an NFT, then I feel like you have later more options and the more experience in the field where you can explore further. Whereas if you're just looking at this, you're just purely coming from an investor standpoint, then that kind of sense of participation and learning is gone. You're simply speculating on the floor price and on the future of this community. So either way, I feel like it's much more rewarding if you are an actual participant in a community or in a DAO, rather, compared to just a bystander or like a third-party investor.
I want to take the words from Lin. He said that the builders build something is very important, and I want to talk about the what to build and the builder's perspective. From 2008 to the present, I can feel that the crypto world has more and more influence on the masses. It is more and more become from a jig world to the real world. In the era of the NFT, we have more and more concerns about the humanities, which we will never talk about before, such as in the DeFi era and in the cryptocurrency era, we'll never talk about that. And obvious example is Vitalik, who came up with a well-known slogan, decentralization. Decentralization is a very important word in the crypto world. However, it was proposed in 2013, and now the slogans he holds are the SDT, the Grim Seal, and the Society. It's something more complex, more about humility. And there was a very famous slogan in the crypto world, such as Cody's Law. However, now we come to think about how to put people human in this virtual world, not just the code. It's a very interesting change. However, it's a very powerful change. So in the direction of construction, on what to build, we need to turn more towards the humanity concerns, not just.
Well,
I think she's disconnected.
Yeah. So the biggest obstacle to the Web3 world is the wetlands, the land speed, I think. Yeah.
Well, that's totally fine. We can talk it later or for next time. Well, thank you, everyone. It has been a pleasure to talk with you guys. And last but not the least, I want you to know that make sure you follow the ChainID Twitter to see our latest event on the 3rd anniversary and get ready to win a total of $10,000 giveaway and tons of airdrops. So don't forget to join our Telegram group for more detailed information. And for NFT Builder competition, trust me, there's no barriers to entry for this event. So just remember to click and fill in the OAT application forms in the chat room box. You basically could submit everything you want that is related to NFT, and we are ready here to give a hand. So let's build together. So thanks a lot, and thank you again to our guests tonight. And here, I guess, is the end of today's session. So you guys have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye bye.